Fox Sports.
We are sports. We are Sun.
The Rays finally solved the Royals over the past 2 days, taking a pair of games to split the 4-game series. Tonight, lefty Blake Snell looks to continue his streak of impressive performances as Joe Mauer and the Minnesota Twins arrive at the Trop. Tonight, the Rays continue their 3-team homestand, and so far, so good. Sweeping New York in a 3-gamer, dividing 4 with the defending champion Kansas City Royals. And tonight, they begin a 3-game series against the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Good to have you looking in tonight as the Rays take on the Twins. 2 hitters featured in this game 1 of the series, 2 left-handed hitters hitting the ball very hard with authority. Brad Miller and Max Kepler.
Absolutely. And how about Brad Miller? He's really taking this, cleanup hitting to heart. I mean, he was put in the cleanup spot last 3 games. He's homered in 2 of them. And the one thing we know about Brad Miller, we talk about it all the time, is the way the ball jumps off the bat, the leverage that he creates. Actually, that's true for both of these hitters, but he's hit some big ones, including yesterday's, which was the game winner. The Rays not on the scoreboard all game long. You get a changeup from Soria, takes it out deep into right field. That gives the Rays a split in that series, and Brad Miller been getting it done over the last week. Max Kepler, on the other hand, is the story right now for the Minnesota Twins. And how about that? Since the 1st of July, he leads Major League Baseball with 12 home runs, and he's coming off of a series where he destroyed Cleveland Indian pitching. 8 out of 16, 4 home runs, 10 driven in. Tall, lanky, ball jumps in off his bat too.
Rays looking for their first winning homestand of the year. A victory tonight would clinch that, and they're going to put it in the hands of the young 24-year-old lefty, Blake Snell. Todd Callis with more on that when we return.
of the season and his young major league career. First time he has ever faced the Twins. Right now 0-2 in his career against the AL Central, having lost to the Indians on the road and the Tigers here at home. For Snell, he's like a sponge, absorbing as much information as he can in between starts, whether it's Drew Smyly, Chris Archer, before he was traded Matt Moore, or Jake Odorizzi. Snell really tries to listen in and learn from them. And what you can see his last 4 starts, he's averaged 6 innings to start during those 4, and he's 2-1 with a 2.25 ERA during that stretch. We caught up with Blake and asked him about learning and how he feels like he's been improving start to start.
Every outing allows me to get that much better, allows me to see that much more. But yeah, I feel like I'm getting the confidence with every pitch. It's starting to become, I wouldn't say easier, but I'm starting to put things together a lot better, and it's definitely making it a lot more helpful for me out there.
One thing he said is he feels like his sequencing has been better and more unpredictable, that has kept hitters off balance, and he has had the results to show for it lately. We're ready for baseball. Snell taking on the Twins, and Ervin Santana. First pitch in 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
It will be the lefty Blake Snell going to the hill tonight to open this weekend series. He'll be after his 4th win, facing the Minnesota Twins. Let's take a look at Paul Molitor's lineup, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Brian Dozier leads it off, then Joe Mauer at first, and Max Kepler red hot hits 3rd. Miguel Sano the DH, Kurt Suzuki catches. Robbie Grossman's in there in left. Eduardo Escobar, the shortstop. Jorge Polanco at 3rd. Byron Buxton is the center fielder, hitting 9th.
Well, left-hander Blake Snell here takes the mound tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays, and really for Blake, it's all about progression. Just watching him get better and better, maturing, improving each and every time out. And I thought that last start against the New York Yankees, there were flashes in that start where he pitched like a true salty vet, and you want to see that continue because that was fun. Let's take a look at that defense and see how it's going to line up behind Blake here tonight. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. And in the outfield, left to right, we have Corey Dickerson, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. Across the infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, Tim Beckham, Logan Forsythe, and Nick Franklin, with Luke Maile behind the plate.
Brian Dozier steps in, hitting .263, and he has been a hot hitter for the Twins. First pitch from Snell is a fastball, and it's in there for a called strike. 13-game hitting streak for Dozier. He has some power, and during that streak has hit the ball the other way a little bit. You know, a couple of years ago, he started to pull the ball, and that gave him a little more pop. Started to put together some good home run numbers, 22 this year. And this season, during this hot stretch, there's a shot the other way, deep to right. Souza Jr. to the wall, and he makes the catch. So that one hit a long way to right center, and Souza right there to catch it.
Well, that's an example going the other way. This was a changeup here by Blake Snell, driven well, but Souza Jr. gets back, feels for that wall, and then reaches up, makes the catch. You know, how often do we talk about that too when we highlight a particular hitter who's on a hot streak, and you talk about using the whole field? That seems to be the theme every time someone gets red hot. Because I'll tell you, if you're all pull, you're going to get pitched away, and if you don't take some of them into right field, or if you're a left-handed hitter into left field, too easy.
Yeah, and that's what was happening with him, and he was hitting .240. And so the Twins had talked with him. He's got a guy like Paul Molitor as his manager, pretty good guy right there to give you an idea how to approach hitting and doing it well. And he's been red hot out here the first time up. 1-1 the count to Joe Mauer. There's Paul Molitor in his second year as the manager of this Minnesota Twins ball club. Two and one. Well, we don't have to tell you about Paul Molitor and how tough he's been against Rays pitching through the years. There's a strike. It's 2-2.
Well, he was a guy that you know, he just absolutely tore it up, used the whole field, much like this guy right now, Joe Mauer.
360 against Rays pitching in 60 career games. Count goes full. There's the red hot Max Kepler on deck.
There's a little note in the Twins notes that Joe Mauer's on base percentage against the Rays in this building is 500. 500. 30 games.
Foul out of play.
Actually, his average and on base percentage in this building is the highest of anybody in the game. Batting average at .398 and an on base of .500. Against some pretty good pitching too.
Yeah, that's the other component to that. You know, the Rays have put together some pretty good pitching during that stretch, and it hasn't made a lot of difference to Mauer. 3-2 here from Blake Snell.
Well, he's one of those guys that, you know, very selective, good with pitch recognition. He stays balanced. He has that up the middle, the other way type of approach. Probably could hit for more power if he chose to.
Liner into center, and that's in there for a base hit. The Rays had Kiermaier way over toward left center, and Mauer just hit a line drive right into straightaway center.
I thought, Dwayne, that was going to have a chance to be caught, but look at where Kevin Kiermaier is. Hold on, we'll get to it. There he is. Kevin Kiermaier way over. I mean, that's approaching left center, and that's because of that up the middle the other way. Joe Mauer, when he hits the ball in the air, it tends to be in that direction. but he uses the middle of field there.
Now Max Kepler, you see the hits by direction of Mauer. He uses the entire field. And Kepler has been using the entire field and sometimes out of the field. 15 home runs. He had that 3 home run game on the 1st of August against the Indians. 1-1. You know, we saw him in that series when the Rays played the Twins in Minneapolis, and both of us were impressed by his approach. You could see that he had a chance, and he's since got very, very hot. One and two, our Toyota inside look. Look at the home run. Look at the company he has here since July the 1st. And he's topping that list with 12 home runs.
Brad Miller making a late run. He's got 4 in his last 6 games. Of course, Kepler had 4 in that Indian series.
And a cut and a miss. Kepler out on strikes. Snell got him with a mid-90s fastball.
That was not fair. I mean, Blake Snell, first of all, strike 1, strike 2 were sliders that were located very well down and away. And then once you get Kepler thinking slider, you're going to have to cover that pitch. Wow, overpowered with a mid-90s heater.
1 on, 2 outs. Here's the DH, Miguel Sano. He starts hitting .239 on the year. Pitch upstairs. Three 15 home runs for the Twins designated hitter. Well, Snell, as a lot of young pitchers will, he has such a great arm, but he's thrown a few more pitches per inning than he'd like, and that's a part of the game that he will address. Behind this count 3-0, 18 pitches here in the first, and he's averaged just a little under 18 pitches per inning.
49 2/3 innings, 25 walks. That will be an area that Blake Snell continues to improve on. Of course, the stuff is there. The pitchability is there. That's what we've both really liked to watch. But now you've just got to refine that command, and that's you know, it's being young with a live arm. Got to harness it.
That's a strike, and he's come back to go full in the count. Mauer singled. He's at first. 2 outs, full count. He'll be off with the pitch. And Sano out on strikes. Mid-90s fastball takes care of him. We go to the bottom of the first inning. No score. top of the first for Blake Snell, leaving a man on base, and we go to the bottom of the inning. Take a look at the Rays lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Logan Forsythe will lead it off. Kevin Kiermaier and Evan Longoria to follow. And the DH tonight is Brad Miller, who provided the margin of victory yesterday. Nick Franklin will follow, and then Corey Dickerson, Steven Souza Jr., Tim Beckham, and Luke Maile.
Taking the mound tonight for the Minnesota Twins, right-hander Ervin Santana, making his 21st start of the season and pitching a whole lot better than he did when the Rays first saw him beginning of June. 5 earned runs in 6 innings. He gave up 3 home runs in that ball game. But boy, oh boy, shortly after that has settled in and is throwing the ball very well.
First pitch to Logan Forsythe is a strike, and included in that stretch is a 2-hit shutout. Just 1 day short of a month ago. That was against the Oakland A's. Base hit right back through the middle. Fastball. And Forsythe is aboard.
Well, let's take a look at that Twin defense and see how it's going to line up here tonight. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. And in the outfield, left to right, we have Robbie Grossman, Byron Buxton, and Max Kepler. Across the infield, third to first, Jorge Polanco, Eduardo Escobar, Brian Dozier, and Joe Mauer, with Kurt Suzuki behind the plate.
Now Kevin Kiermaier. Pitch upstairs. Kevin starts the night at .218, but a .325 on base percentage. (2-0). He drew the walk in the 8th inning yesterday following a Forsythe base hit, and all of that eventually led to the 3-run home run by Miller. High fly ball into left. It's Grossman out there making the catch. 1 on, 1 out. Tonight's Buick GMC big matchup. Evan Longoria against this Minnesota Twins ball club. In that series, Minneapolis, 7 for 16, 5 home runs.
I don't think you could be locked in any more than that. 7 hits in a series, 5 of them go over the fence. That's really when things started picking up for Evan.
Yeah, and for the most part, he stayed disciplined and locked in to the point where he has the 23 home runs. Pops it up, foul ball straight back. Suzuki will watch it as it bounds out of play.
That really is, and it's hard to be locked in, you know, for an entire season, of course. But you know, you're going to go through your bad stretches. But they've been shorter this year for Evan, and his whole key is stay within the strike zone. When he doesn't expand, that's when you see him get red hot, like that series, like we've seen him recently.
Hot shot foul. Skipping through the stands.
And that's one of those things too that it's like, well, no kidding. I mean, any hitter that expands is going to struggle, but for Evan, his ability to handle pitches that are strikes, called strikes, to be able to get to the pitch in, to be able to hammer the ball, and we've seen him go into right field a lot. He does it better than most.
And he's had a pretty good track record against Santana. 8 for 20 with 3 of those home runs. Down 0-2 at the moment, and is out on strikes. First strikeout for Santana, out number 2 in the inning.
Speaking of expanding, that's exactly what Santana did there. You pitch up in the count, you're able to do things like that.
Well, here's Brad Miller. 19 home runs now for Miller. And a base hit stroked the other way. Forsythe advances to second. Miller took the fastball then to left.
Well, that's a beautiful thing because that's a good first pitch strike fastball by Ervin Santana. Down and away. Go ahead. You're going to pitch me down and away. I'm going to stay down and through it. A little timing mechanism with the high step and then shoot that ball into left. Raised their first scoring opportunity here. 2 outs in the first.
It's an opportunity for Nick Franklin. Hitting .292. The off-speed pitch. The breaking ball is a little high. Drops this one in there. 1-1. So going off speed with breaking stuff in the first couple pitches. There's a base hit into right. Kepler will charge it. Forsythe heads to the plate. Throw to the plate. Not in time, and the Rays lead. Forsythe scores on the base hit by Franklin. The Rays out in front.
Stayed off speed. A couple of breaking balls early in the count, and then he comes right here with that little split changeup, and it stays up. That's what gives Nick Franklin a chance. That pitch is down. He probably rolls over it with not as much authority, and the inning's over. You leave it up, he finds a hole. The Rays find themselves out in front.
Nick Franklin having a little fun here. That move, by the way, and we'll see this later on, representative of Tom Hallion's strike call. So we'll have to compare those later on. Corey Dickerson takes a strike. We'll have to wait for Hallion to get warmed up back there because he can really let it fly when he calls a strike.
Well, it's the strike 3.
Yeah.
It's the strike 3, and you primed me. You had your video out.
1-1. Something to behold.
It's aggressive. It's quick twitch and it's aggressive.
Well, he makes calls for a living, and those third strike calls are something special. Now 1-2 on Corey Dickerson. Forsythe has scored. Miller's at second. Franklin aboard at first with the RBI single. Two and two. Dickerson takes that inside. A fastball straightened him up. Souza Jr. in the on-deck circle. Enough to stay alive on the foul ball. Speed.
That was classic book pitching right there. You know, the fastball up and in to push a guy back off the plate, and then you come off speed down low and away. A nice job by Corey Dickerson to be able to reach out there and flip that pitch away.
Broken bat. Is that fair or foul? Going to be a foul ball. It's going to be over the head of Mauer, out of reach, but foul. And it split the bat.
How about that? I mean, flat. Watch this thing blow up. What for the paddle? An oar.
Rays facing Ervin Santana. Dickerson extends the at bat.
Well, Ervin Santana, for the most part,
most part, keeps it pretty simple. You know, fastball, slider, changeup. The Rays have seen him before. They've gotten to him before.
And a cut and a miss on a fastball. And that one popped away from Suzuki, who is uncomfortable here in the aftermath of that pitch. Rays baseball on Fox Sports Sun, brought to you by Jeep, the official vehicles of summer. Celebrating 75 summers of living 4 by forever. By LRE, specializing in concrete releveling, soil stabilization, and restoration services since 1989. And by your local Toyota dealers. Well, Kurt Suzuki scheduled to lead off the second inning, and here's the aftermath of that swing and the strikeout. You can see the bat head making contact with the left arm of Suzuki just above the wrist. So here he is to lead off the second.
Probably would have liked to had a little bit more time before having to go to the plate and start swinging a bat.
Takes the pitch for a strike. Fastball on the outside part of the plate. Snell with a couple strikeouts in the first inning. You got Kepler and Sano each on the fastball. Got him swinging. Because a strike on the corner.
Because Blake Snell's stuff is so good, those two different strikeouts came two completely different ways. You know, with Max Kepler, he was up. He was executing pitches, slider down and away, slider down and away, blow him away with the fastball. Sano, he falls behind 3-0, but he still has that ability to be able to come back and get it because of the power.
Forsythe positioned perfectly, and Suzuki is the first out.
That's what's impressive, the way that you can get strikeouts, the way that you can get outs, and his stuff is good enough that even if he falls behind, he can come right back after you, challenge you, and still get those outs.
Yeah, and you can tell he's figured a lot of things out too as a pitcher. I mean, he's not just out there throwing and let the catcher put down some signs. He's got an idea what he can do to get himself to the point where he wants to be. There's a means to an end with him.
Well, all you have to do is pay attention on these, when you get that center field look. Watch how many times, and it's not often, but certainly enough for a rookie, a shaking. And Luke Maile would come down there with the slider. No, I want the fastball, or I want the curveball. In control of his own game, taking ownership.
It's a ball and a strike to count to Robbie Grossman. 1-2. Working the perimeter of the strike zone, both on the corners and on the upper reaches of the zone here with Grossman. Two and two. Eduardo Escobar, the shortstop, on deck. Strike three call on the corner, and we got a little bit of Tom Hallion. Got him fired up on the call, third strike. Let's take a look at the pitch and the call.
You do not want to be approaching him from the back right. You're going to take a shot right to the throat.
He's one of those guys where you root for the call third strike.
Yeah.
Eduardo Escobar, and the pitch is a strike.
And he's got to love to do that. So that tells you then that he looks for that borderline pitch so he can ring a guy up.
And if you look at his umpiring profile and the heat map, there's some truth in that. Popped up there. Franklin takes care of it at first. We go to the bottom of the second inning, and it's 1-0 Rays. Opportunity to participate in the Rays charity auction. Bidding open on the Rays Executive for a Day package. One-of-a-kind experience. Takes you behind closed doors, face-to-face with Matt Silverman, Brian Auld, and Kevin Cash. Proceeds benefiting the Tampa General Hospital Foundation and the Rays Baseball Foundation. Visit raysbaseball.com/auction to bid. Strike called here to Steven Souza Jr. Home half of the second inning underway. It's foul right back, 0-2. Executive a day, you might get in on a trade. You can advise on a possible player transaction.
You do have the waiver deadline. It will come up at the end of this month. So yeah, there'll still be some trades made.
See if you can slide a guy through waivers and then make a deal. Those are always kind of skillful.
Yeah. And that would be the one to break somebody in on. You know, if they had this giveaway and this opportunity prior to the other trade, you wouldn't sleep.
Yeah.
They'd hand you a cell phone and you'd be up all hours of the night.
Yeah. But you could call people at all hours of the night, which would be kind of fun.
And they would answer.
Yeah.
It's even more fun.
Oh, strike 3 called again. And Tom Halley in great form already.
Get the 2 strikes. He's looking. He's looking. Better not take that borderline pitch. And don't approach him from the right.
Second strikeout for Santana. There he is. That's what we're talking about. He's having fun back there. Now Tim Beckham. Pitch outside. You know, the commissioner's looking for ways. You know, last year there was an emphasis on speeding up the game, and it did. And this year they dropped a few minutes in the other direction, so they're interested in that. You know how to speed up the game, and I think make it even more interesting than it is. Open that strike zone. You get an umpire like Tom Hallion, and when you look at that, and we've seen it already, he's not afraid to call a strike on the corners, and maybe sometimes a little off the corners. Widen it a little bit. High fly ball center field. This is Buxton making the catch. 2 gone. That'll move things along. It'll make hitters way more aggressive, umpires aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, only so many different ways you can try to come in and manipulate pace of play from the outside. But if you get the umpires together, you're right. And open up the strike zone. The borderline pitch, you know, be ready to call strikes.
Yeah.
And guess what? That won't take very long before the hitters go, hey, listen, you want to go up there and start looking for, you know, keyholing guys. No. So that'll force them to be more aggressive. You think about the Rays' last series against the Royals and how many balls that you saw that were clear strikes, but near the edge called balls. Well, it didn't take long for those hitters to go up there and say, this guy's not calling anything. I'm looking for one pitch in one spot. Every count is 3 and 2. Every at bat takes 8 pitches. It's awful.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely an area where they could address seriously and make some headway there if that's what they want to do.
You get more action, more aggressive hitters.
Yep. Well, there's one problem we've solved. What else do you have?
Well, we've got it's only the second.
We're having fun with the plate umpire. We've solved a problem. Rays have a lead. We're off to a great start.
Now, Friday night, baby.
Yeah, it's Friday night. So a 2-strike count on Maile. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nick Franklin drove in the run in the first. Logan Forsythe had opened with a base hit. It's a close pitch right there. And it's 2-2. Strike 3 call. Now Maile caught looking. We go to the third, 1-0 Rays.
Braves with a 1-0 lead over Minnesota, and our greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. It was a day where a player who has played for almost 15 years decided to call it quits. Mark Teixeira of the New York Yankees, guys, has decided after this season that will be it. He was a world champion, a 5-time Gold Glover, 3-time Silver Slugger, 3-time All-Star as well. Teixeira said he made his decision during the All-Star break. He has not played in as many as 125 games the last 5 years. This was after averaging over 150 games his first 9 years. Had a neck injury, had a knee injury this year. He said it got to the point where he just decided, if I'm going to battle through injuries, I might as well be home with my family. So quite a career for Mark Teixeira.
Yeah, and it was emotional apparently for him, as you could well expect that it would be. The Yankees, some age on that roster, and they've started to move in another direction now.
Yep, no question about it. You're looking back at those deals that Brian Cashman did right before the deadline, moving some big-name relievers, bringing in some young prospects, restocking the system. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, well, he might have missed an opportunity right there.
Could have.
Yeah. You know, that's almost a reflex to call that a strike. Look at this pitch. Great pitch.
Snell struck out Polanco and Hallion.
It's foul right back. Couple of strikeouts in the first, 2 swinging, 1 looking in the second. Ahead of Polanco. Line drive, and it's going to be over the head of Beckham. A base hit off the fastball. Well, that's too bad. Leadoff single after he hadn't struck out. And the leadoff hitter is aboard.
Well, this Minnesota Twins team, we talked about the series against the Cleveland Indians. The first 3 games they scored 35 runs, and they have had an extended streak of swinging the bats very well.
Yeah, they were in a position to drop the game 9-2 yesterday, but prior to that they dominated. Byron Buxton. There's a strike. Buxton hitting 195. Highly touted by the Twins. They are expecting great things from him. Oh, 2. And the offensive side has been an issue for the 22-year-old outfielder. The 209 in 46 games last year. And 195 right now so far this year. And he is out on strikes. Strikeout number 4.
For Blake Snell, both the curveball and the slider tonight getting great depth. And here's the slider. 83, 84 miles an hour. Look at that ball just disappearing. That's your true back foot. You try to present that pitch as something hard in, and you break it right to that back foot. Well executed there by Blake.
Yeah, that's one of the really impressive things about Snell. You start with the velocity in the arm, but to have a curveball and a slider as good as these 2 pitches are, unusual.
A lot of times when you're throwing the curve and the slider, you almost get caught in between them. But he's got 2 different. I mean, the curveball, you can see his fingers on top. That thumb is behind it, and he really is ripping that thing down out over the front to get that 12-6 break. The slider, those fingers just on the side, almost like a cutter that he's able to get leverage with. And so he's able to drive that down and get a tremendous amount of depth with it. You've got the different points of velocity working its way, you know, the change up, the curve, the slider up to the fastball.
You know, it used to, I guess, I'm not my general impression is that in times past, you'd look at the rotation from a fan's point of view as to who's pitching. You know, well, I want to go see the game the night this guy's pitching. Right. And I think there's been less emphasis on that now. With him, you should circle when he's going to pitch, because it's going to be fun to watch Blake Snell pitch.
I know that you and I talk about it.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
forward to this
Absolutely.
night. And just see, watching a young pitcher like Blake Snell with all the ability that he has continue to grow and learn, put things into practice. That Yankee series, that Yankee game that he pitched,
yeah.
a couple of those sequences where you're like, that's beyond your
we
years.
both got fired up.
I know, no question.
Runner goes, pitch is a strike, and it pops away. So Polanco will get a steal.
And he picked the right pitch to run on. Breaking ball down in the dirt.
Foul ball down toward the bullpen. Holds the count at 2-2 to Dozier.
Got to be careful with Brian Dozier right here. We talked about how hot he was coming in, and that 13-game hitting streak, 22 hits in the streak, 11 of them for extra bases. And since the Rays last saw him, at that beginning of that series in June, he was hitting 205. Has hit 318 since the Rays left town.
There's a high shot back into right center field. Well tagged. One hop and to the wall. Polanco scores. Dozier around second, heads for third, and the throw will not be in time. A triple to tie this game.
Where did he hit it, Dwayne? Other way.
Yep.
That deep into right center field. You're going to see the Rays defense again. You've got right here Kevin Kiermaier shading towards left center field, slight shade towards left center field. And watch where he puts this. I mean, he drops it right between Souza Jr. and Kevin Kiermaier. They did not have a chance.
And this has made him a more complete hitter, and not a coincidence, because Tom Brunansky, their hitting instructor, and Paul Molitor have been talking with him and urging and encouraging and instructing for him to hit the ball the other way. He's using the whole field, and twice tonight he's hit the ball deep to right center field, and that went back into the center field side of right center for a triple. Now the infield comes up with Joe Mauer at the plate. He takes ball one, so it's a 1-1 ball game.
Yeah, everybody right there along the cut, and you're facing a tough hitter here in Joe Mauer, who obviously with his acumen and his numbers over the years, very good situational hitter, looking to get something into the outfield here.
1-1. Look at that. His career average with men in scoring position, 330 for a career.
That would be a great season. A great season, and that's just what he does, I don't know, over many seasons. That's absurd. I knew he's a good situational hitter. I didn't know he was that good.
Covered up. 2-2. Pitch count right there at 18 now in this inning. One out. Man at third. And the pitch down. So he walked him. Jim Hickey's going to trot to the mound. So men at first and third while they talk it over. We'll remind you to follow Rays Baseball Live with the MLB.com @bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, with live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and a lot more. Download MLB.com @bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Well, the red-hot right fielder Max Kepler is up here. Twins have turned the leadoff single into the tying run, and now men on the corners. First pitch is strike. Pitch is low, 1-1.
Remember that first at bat. Strike one, strike two, good sliders down and away to Kepler. And then as soon as he got him focused on defending that pitch, all of a sudden blew him away with the fastball, trying the same approach right here.
And he just misses there, a little wide. Now 2-1.
Yeah, you're trying to get him to reach after that pitch, and if he puts it in play, more than likely it's going to be on the ground, especially if the pitch is down. And then you're going to try to turn an inning-ending double play. That's what Blake Snell's thinking.
Close with the fastball. 3-1.
Well, now you've got to find the strike zone because you don't want to walk the bases loaded with Miguel Sano coming up, although he's been struggling recently.
Good. 3-1. Now the count is full, and he was not giving in.
Not at all. Another good slider here by Blake Snell. The swing by Max Kepler, just not recognizing that pitch very well, sitting on the 3-1 fastball.
Strike three call. He comes back to get him looking on the fastball. So 96 looking, 2 gone.
Boy, he is some kind into Max Kepler's head right now. After that first at bat, then coming back here with the 3-1 slider and then freezing him on the fastball. A lot to think about if you're Max Kepler. Too much to think about.
Now Miguel Sano. Foul ball out of play. Got Sano on strikes, fell behind him, came back to get him with the fastball. Strike two. Polanco scored. Dozier, who tripled, is at third, extending his hitting streak to 14. Mauer at first, he walked. Kepler struck out. 0-2 the count to Sano. Over to first. Mauer right there on the bag. Sano out on strikes on the breaking pitch. Couple of strikeouts to get out of that spot. We're tied 1-1. Tonight's timeless moment brought to you by Coors Banquet, September 16th, 1996. Paul Molitor triples against Kansas City for hit number 3,000 of his career. He finished with 3,319. Out of the University of Minnesota. He had a grand total of 228 at-bats, 64 games in the minor leagues before his rookie year with Milwaukee in '78. And what a great career you see there. Entered the Hall of Fame in the class of '04.
Yeah, and 1993 World Series champion MVP. He was the first hitter I ever faced in the big leagues. And I'll tell you, he's one of those guys, when you think about Paul Molitor and what I remember facing him, he was quiet at the plate, balanced, and had some of the quickest hands you've ever seen. I mean, he threw the hands through the zone, through the baseball, as well as anybody that I've ever gotten a chance to compete against.
You know, some hitters have to get started. There's all kinds of motion.
Right.
You're right. He was just almost statuesque at the plate. And then suddenly there it was.
That's exactly right. And that, like I said, you know, you're balanced, you're quiet. You don't have all the movement. You're just waiting. And that ball comes, there's that little load, and then boom. And I mean, it happened quick. You know, he had that spread out stance. He was so tough to get off balance with changing speeds. It was outstanding.
Full count to Logan Forsythe. Logan leading off the bottom of the third in what is now a tie game. Kevin Kiermaier will be next, followed by Evan Longoria. Oh, strike three call. So Forsythe caught looking.
Well, he's done that a couple times here tonight. Ervin Santana gets you looking for that slider away, and all of a sudden pops that fastball in, and he's been able to locate it in there against the right-handers. He gets another call right there. You see that ball tracking right over the inside corner. A perfect pitch by Santana.
5 strikeouts for Santana. Blake Snell has 6. There's Kevin Kiermaier. And there's a called strike at the knees. One and one. A 2-1 count. Two and two.
Another pitcher's pitch there. Ervin Santana, 2-1 in the count. Not going to give in with the fastball, and drops another slider right there on the outside corner. And by doing that, now you open yourself up to do whatever you want here.
Tap foul off the fastball. Count still 2 and 2.
Fastball, you know, kind of close to Kiermaier. Now you can either go back foot slider, you may go change up, down, and away. Got some options.
Outside of first with that one.
For the slider, just didn't get it down. That ball stayed up, and that allowed Kiermaier to get to it. Love these little cat and mouse games.
Now the count is full. He's facing the 33-year-old right-hander. Formerly with the Angels, signed with the Angels, came up with them. Ground ball to short. Escobar, close play at first. Boy, Kiermaier, every time it seems, is right there on the bag. Very close.
Eduardo Escobar, this is a routine ground ball to short. Fields it, doesn't waste any time, and it's still that close of a play. I mean, that's getting out of the box. That close. Wasn't a bumble, wasn't a stumble, wasn't a bobble. From the left side, and he can low fly with the best of them.
Base is empty, 2 outs for Evan Longoria. Holds it foul. Evan out on strikes his first time.
That was rough. You know, the Rays ball boys down the lines are so good. That right there, E, no number, no position. Got to open that thing up.
Yeah, let's close the webbing too soon.
We only show that because you may never see that again. They make plays.
Yes, they do.
Hallion makes calls. They make plays. I'm going to blame that bad bounce on a sprinkler head.
Yeah. Shake it off. 2-1 now. Three and one. High fly ball back to right center. Kepler approaching the track on it, and he makes the catch. Rays are out 1-2-3. We go to the fourth, tied 1-1. Tonight's Geico great moment. It was on this day in 2014. Drew Smyly making his Rays debut with a 5 1/3 inning effort, giving up 3 runs. Finished that year with the Rays 3-1 and a 1.70 ERA in a Rays uniform. The Rays encouraged yesterday with the outing he had. Kevin Cash noting that's 3 good starts in a row and very encouraged by what he has seen.
Well, look at it. That is a clean line right there. 7 innings, 2 runs, 10 strikeouts, just the 1 walk, and thanks to Brad Miller, took him off the hook.
Rays got a 3-2 win. Boxberger got the win, but a very good outing for Drew Smyly.
I mean, all you do as a starting pitcher, go out, pitch, try to pitch well, and keep your team in the game, give them a chance to win. That's what he did, and they were able to come back and get those 3 runs late.
Suzuki with a high fly ball short center, handled by Kiermaier. Flanked right there by Alex Cobb and Matt Andrees. Alex Cobb continues to make progress in his rehab of the Tommy John surgery. Matt Andrees scheduled to pitch the Sunday game here against the Twins. Robbie Grossman takes the pitch high. Grossman called out on strikes his first time. Snell 6 strikeouts in the first 3 innings. Santana with 5 in his first 3. 1 out into the 4th now. That foul ball sets up a 1-2 count. Beckham from shortstop makes the throw. Grossman is the second out.
See Grossman trying to follow that curveball down, and an interesting stat coming into this start. The at bats that end on a Blake Snell curveball, he's given up 1 hit.
How about that?
1 hit.
Yep. See, opposition is 1 for 37, or 1 for 27.
Plus
a
a couple.
0.37 average.
It makes perfect sense too, because if you're throwing that pitch for a strike, its depth is so good. I mean, he doesn't hang many of them. And so if the at bat ends on that pitch, more than likely it's not going well for the hitter.
Pitch that apparently missed down. 2-0. Eduardo Escobar, the shortstop. It's 3-0. And a strike call. Escobar out of Venezuela. 262 last year. Originally got to the big leagues with the White Sox. Been with the Twins the last 4 years. Fly ball short right. Souza Jr. coming in a hurry. He's there. That'll retire the side here in the 4th. The 1-2-3 inning for Blake Snell, who has 6 strikeouts. He's given up a walk, a run on 3 hits. We're tied 1-1.
At one, he was out at first base today, guys, learning a new position. Has never played a major league game at first base. Learning from the Rays bench coach Tom Foley, who also in his career, after primarily playing shortstop, later on would play at first base with the Montreal Expos. So Miller getting used to that side of the infield, as Matt Duffy is probably about a week away, playing tonight for the Charlotte Stone Crabs. A couple of hits. Miller obviously not pleased. He did not want to lose that shortstop job, but he has been hitting and accepting the decision, and now trying to learn how to play a whole new spot on the field, guys.
Yeah, it's always an interesting situation like that. Obviously, the player prefers to play is what he considers his natural position he's held for a while, and it's not an easy transition, but I have to tell you, I think it will be a great move for him. And he obviously is athletic and can play first base, and you know, it's not as if you're just going to stick a guy at first and say play it. Here's a guy who's played the infield.
Yeah,
and he can be an asset at first base. He can be a plus over there, and we know what a plus he is with his power and his bat. And I think long term down the road, this could really be, I think, a positive for the team, but one for Brad Miller as well.
That'll be fun to watch. That transition will be fun to watch, to keep your eye on. You know, you think about Brad Miller, what he's done this year in the power department. 19 home runs. You know, it's not a stretch to think that he could be a 25 to 30 guy.
Yep.
You take a 25 to 30 guy, he transitions well. You know, he's going to be athletic for a first baseman already.
Yep.
You don't play shortstop by being unathletic. So yeah, you're going to have an athletic if it works out. Soft hands and power.
Dozier at second. And I mean, I understand him being disappointed. He plays the game hard. It's one of the things you really like about him. He runs out ground balls. He comes to play, wants to play, and in a way you would almost prefer that he not like that move. I mean, you don't necessarily want a guy who goes, oh sure, that's fine.
No. If he's all
like the
for
fire.
it, yes. If he's all for that move after all those years at shortstop, you kind of go, no.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled that he's living. I really am.
Yep.
That shows you what I mean, the competitiveness, but yet at the same time, you can be livid with the decision, but have to live with it and move on and you know, make the proper adjustments wherever you're going to go from there, and that's what he's doing now.
Yeah,
Doesn't have to be happy about it, but he's putting the work in.
That's right, and in good hands with Tom Foley. They have over there the footwork and all of that is going to be one of the primary issues, and to have Tom Foley on this staff. Ground ball down to first. Mauer is going to make the play to retire Franklin. 2 gone, and there's no real timetable set for that, but Foley came away saying, I don't think it's going to take him long at all.
Yeah.
So there you go. And it'll be interesting to watch Duffy when he's 100%. You know, we heard on the pregame that maybe the second series on this road trip, which would be New York. So we'll see how all that comes together. Now Corey Dickerson. Shot back into left center. Got some carry. Grossman up and makes the catch with that reach as he hit the track in left center field. Dickerson made a bid for extra bases. Rays 3 up, 3 down for the 3rd straight inning. We're tied 1-1. Sports Sun brought to you by Jeep, the official vehicles of summer. Celebrating 75 summers of living 4x forever. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Southern Chevy dealer. Jorge Polanco leads it off. Polanco had a base hit to open the third inning and scored a run. Also got credit for his second stolen base of the year in that inning. There's a strike, 1-1 now. Blake Snell, 6 strikeouts, giving up a run on 3 hits. Snell behind 3-1.
Polanco with a base hit his first time up. He's certainly in a tight game like this as you move into the middle innings. Lead off walks, especially to the bottom of the order. You can come back and get them.
Into center field. Kiermaier's there to make the catch. Tomorrow the Rays and Evan Longoria brighten up your home with a Longo Solar Gnome presented by Tampa General Hospital. Fans receive the gnome while supplies last. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com for additional info on the Longo Solar Gnome. Rays up. Byron Buxton hitting out of the 9th spot. First pitch strike, a breaking ball, curveball.
Byron Buxton just has not progressed as the Minnesota Twins would have hoped. You see his season numbers there that average below 200.
0-2. His swing can get a little long.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can, and you know that kind of stuff when there's not a lot of scouting reports can work. And he's such an athlete on top of it. But boy, when you get to the big leagues with the stuff that's up here, the information that's available, and the fact that if that swing is long and stays long, you can pitch a long swing so many different ways, and that's what you're seeing happen with Buxton. Not been able to make that adjustment and shorten it up. At least not do it consistently.
Out front, foul. Going to be out on strikes with the put out down at first. Chase the breaking ball down in the dirt. That's strikeout number 7 on the evening for Blake Snell.
Second baseman, Brian Dozier.
We'll go back around to the top of the order. Brian Dozier tripled in the tying run in the 3rd. Lifts a high fly ball right center where Souza Jr. is calling for it. That's the 3rd out. Through 4.5, bottom of the 5th coming. Tied at 1. Nobody sees sports quite the way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know and the guts to say. Catch Colin and Jason on FS1's new daily sports talk show, Speak for Yourself, weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern. One the count here to Steven Souza Jr. 1-1 with Beckham next, and then Maile due up. 1-1 ball game. Oh, that just got him. He's hit by the pitch. The Rays are going to have the leadoff man on base here in the bottom of the 5th.
That's the first hit by pitch for Ervin Santana all season. And I mean, maybe it caught a wrinkle in that sleeve. Maybe.
Way to sell it.
Yeah.
You just barely got him. Tim Beckham takes the pitch a little wide, 1-0. One slider moving right away from Beckham's bat. Beckham getting the start at shortstop tonight. His 35th start of the year overall and the 16th at shortstop.
Santana thinking that something may be up here. Both of these pitchers have settled in. They're throwing well. This is where you start to think maybe one of these teams, you get an early opportunity like this, you start to try to create something on your own.
Only a couple of stolen bases against Santana this year. There's a line drive base hit into left toward the corner. Grossman will keep it out of the corner. Souza's going to go to third. Beckham into second ahead of the throw. Second and third with nobody out in the 5th. Beckham's 7th double of the year.
Well, a fastball meant to be in. It did not quite get there, and Tim Beckham, to his credit, pulled the hands close to the body and gets the barrel to the baseball and into the corner. And now the Rays with a real threat here. Second and third, nobody.
Great opportunity. The 7 and 8 hitters now aboard, both in scoring position, and Luke Maile up here. Maile, one of the strikeouts recorded by Santana. You know, interesting, a lot of strikeouts in the first 2 or 3 innings, and since then we've seen hitters be aggressive up there. They're swinging the bats. Pitch inside, 1-0.
And a good number of them looking. So that's kind of that point we were talking about, where you get an umpire back there's not afraid to start calling strikes, ringing guys up, and you credit the pitchers too for being around the zone for the most part, and that's going to lead to hitters up there not wasting a whole lot of time.
One and one here to Maile. back in the lineup after catching the first game, or the second game of the Kansas City series. He caught the first 2 games of that series. Now 1-2 the count. And a big strikeout for Santana. First out in the 5th inning.
Now he needed that badly, and he gets it, but now you've got to deal with Logan Forsythe, another guy, good situational hitter, used the middle of the field, understands the importance of this, and that's why now all of a sudden you see the Twins start to bring the infield in. Not all the way in, not to the cut, but they are a little more than halfway.
Logan singled in the first and scored the Rays' run. Pitch outside after he was singled home by Nick Franklin. Santana retired 10 in a row before hitting Souza Jr. And Beckham doubled. Second and third, 1 out. That'll be a strike, 1-1. Santana with the Angels, the Royals, and the Braves. Pitching for the Twins. Chopper foul outside of third. It's 1-2. This one bounding away, but not far enough to give Souza a chance. 2-2. Santana threw a no-hitter back in 2011 against the Indians. Battling, fouls it.
A couple of pitches down and away here from Ervin Santana. Remember how he was able to close out Logan in his previous at-bat. That fastball up and in. So now all of a sudden you see those swings. You see him kind of leaning out there over the plate. Do you go back to that pitch? He may try to close him with another heater in here.
And he fouls it back. That's exactly what he was trying to do.
You know, that's exactly what you see and what you feel as a pitcher. You get ahead, you go slider down and away, it's way off the plate, slider down and away, he kind of reaches out, and you see him leaning, and all of a sudden you think, I can close him. I can come in there with some good heat. Tip your hat to, or helmet to Forsythe for fouling that pitch off.
This one in too much, and the count is full.
But we've had a couple of these battles here tonight, and it's fun with a guy like Ervin Santana because he uses both sides of the plate. You know, a lot of guys get stuck on one half of it and you know, use the other half very rarely. But Santana's not afraid to move that ball around the zone, in and out.
And a cut and a miss. He strikes him out.
Reach back. That's all he did, was he reached back, and Logan Forsythe, you know, he needed the strikeout, and he just throws 95 right here and is able to get it by him. So that's a big pitch.
2 big strikeouts here of Mahle and Forsythe with men at second and third. So they're still out there with 2 outs now. And here's Kevin Kiermaier.
Boy, you need a 2-out hit here. Get that dugout re-energized.
Kiermaier putting down a bunt and fouls it, strike 1.
Don't you get the feeling that if Kiermaier lays down a bunt in fair territory, you can't throw him out?
Yeah. No.
You're not going to throw him out.
Yep. That's right.
Not unless you've got these corner infielders going through his pockets. That's about it. He had a ground ball to short and almost beat it out.
That's exactly right. Yeah, close there. The Heat inside. 1-1.
Pitch you don't see a whole lot of anymore. Rush back heater.
Rays' first opportunity since the first. They've had absolutely nothing going in between. Santana trying to pitch his way out of this. Top shot, look out. Down toward the bullpen. Had Rocco Baldelli ducking in the coaching box at first.
That says it all.
Let's take a look. Yeah, Rocco hits the deck. Nice play protecting the bullpen bench.
I wish they would stop designating the coaching box. It's merely a suggestion. I mean, if you look at right now where the coaches are for the Rays, Charlie Montoya nowhere near it. Rocco Baldelli, he's out in right field now. I mean, what's the point?
Well, you're right. It's a suggestion. It's really a suggestion box is what it is. 2-2.
Well, I've got a complaint that I'm going to put in that suggestion box. Why do you exist?
There you go. Okay. Well, we got a couple things going tonight.
It's big.
Aggressive strike zone.
Yep.
And what about the coaching boxes here?
We got 4 innings to come up with one more.
Did he go? He did. He is out on strikes. And the Rays lead men at second and third. A frustrated Kevin Kiermaier strikes out. So the Rays leave men at second and third. We're through 5 and still tied 1-1. Rays open the scoring in the first inning. A base hit by Nick Franklin scoring Logan Forsythe. And they have been stymied since then. Blake Snell touched for a run in the third. He has 7 strikeouts tonight. 1 walk. Base hit by Polanco in the first, and then a 1-out triple by Brian Dozier tied the game. We're headed into the 6th. 7 strikeouts, a walk, 1 run on 3 hits. Joe Mauer leading off. That's a strike. Erasmo Ramirez on the bullpen mound. Mauer, Kepler, and then Sano. Beckham, long throw, time, got it. Now Maurer is the first out in the 6th. Time to check in with one Todd Kalas. Todd?
Dwayne, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
We have some updates from about an hour south of us in Port Charlotte, Florida. The Charlotte Stone Crabs yesterday, Alex Cobb was on the mound wearing the number 3, and he went 3 innings and only allowed the 1 run. Threw 41 pitches, 31 strikes. Cobb continues to make his way back to the big leagues. He'll throw a bullpen here on Sunday. Good to see Alex get out there and get his work in. And then as Max Kepler will dig in for the first pitch from Blake Snell. Today, both Mikey Montauk and Matt Duffy continue their rehab assignments. You can see the combined last 2 nights. Montauk batting leadoff, Matt Duffy batting number 2. Duffy drove in Montauk with an RBI tonight for the Charlotte Stone Crabs. And Matt Duffy had a couple of hits overall, 3 for 6. The only drawback so far, guys, they wanted to see Duffy get some reps at shortstop. Yesterday, he played 5 innings, no ground balls to short. Tonight, 6 innings. Same thing. He did make a relay throw from the outfield, but so far has not been tested as a shortstop.
Perfect.
That's made
Just
up.
perfect.
That's completely made up. So you're telling me that 5 innings of a ball game yesterday, AAA or Stone Crabs, A-ball, 6 innings today, not 11 innings of standing out there not getting a ground ball. Somebody mix in a sinker.
Kepler, did he go? Oh, he checked on the appeal down to Adam Hamari. 2-2.
And by the way, Todd told me that in yesterday's game, and I still don't know if I believe him on this one, but he played 5 innings.
Yes.
He comes out of the game, the first hitter of the 6th inning, ground ball to short. And then 0 for tonight.
Yeah, there's some sabotage going on there.
That's not cool.
Yeah. Sano's on deck. 2-2 the count to Kepler.
And you know when he wrapped that story up, you know the smirk that he had.
Oh,
you know the look.
absolutely, yeah.
Todd's got a look.
We all know that.
So excited to share it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, hey, how about this, boys?
Yeah. He loves to bring the bad news.
Yeah.
And with a smirk.
Yeah. All went well. This was good. This was good, but you know.
Yeah. And he can't wait for your you know, whatever you're going to say back, because he's like, oh yeah, no, that happened. Yeah.
Kepler walks. That's the 2nd walk allowed by Snell. 1 on, 1 out now in the 6th inning. Pitch count a little over 90. There he is. Just thinking up his next report to. Just to hold it over us.
Puppet master.
He looks like such a friendly guy.
The camera's been on him so long. He's so awkward right now.
I'm still on you.
That's a stale shot.
Still on you. All right, Miguel Sano. Strike to count. An 0-2 count. Snell got Sano with a 3-2 fastball in the first after he fell behind him, and then got ahead of him and struck him out with a breaking ball in the 3rd. Now he's 0-2 with him in the 6th. Upstairs, he would not chase. This has been a great trend by the Rays starters. Now 15 games worth.
I was going to circle some good numbers, but they're all good. They're all good. That's outstanding. What a run.
Mm-hmm. 2-2. Well, you know, a lot of things have fallen into place there. They're pitching better, but the defense is better. Kiermaier's back. You know, Mailey's done a nice job behind the plate too.
Yep.
Now, you can't overlook factors like that.
And coming out of the break, Jim Hickey challenged his staff. He said, "You want to turn this thing around? It begins and it ends with you. No excuses, nothing. Let's go out there and get the job done." Boy, they've responded.
Oh, a base hit into left. And Kepler advances to second. Sano, who was down, went to 2-2 and lines a base hit.
Made some adjustments, chasing early on, and here comes Kevin Cash.
Yeah, 97 pitches for Snell, 1 out into the 6th. And so we're going to see a pitching change here. Brought to you by Jeep, the official vehicles of summer. Celebrating 75 summers of living 4x4ever. By Kubota. To find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Rays home opening this series against Minnesota. Blake Snell out of there after 97 pitches, responsible for a couple men on. Kurt Suzuki will be the first man to face Erasmo Ramirez.
And I love the fact that when Kevin Cash went to get Blake Snell not happy about coming out of this game.
Yep, 97 pitches. And of course, you see there. Frustrated.
Yeah, last place he wants to be is sitting on the bench. Still wants to be out there competing, and you got to love that in your young starter.
Stop right there by Mailey, and the count is 1-1. You know, interesting situation about that, and we started to touch on that as we look at the numbers for Ramirez. 44th appearance, 7 and 8. The Rays have always been, and people across the game, clubs, careful with the young pitchers, keeping a close eye on pitch count. Popper back of first, foul ball. Franklin, a nice over-the-shoulder catch, and then he fires a one-hopper over to third just in case Kepler had any thoughts. So a nice catch there by Franklin, showing some of that infielder's talent.
How many times do we talk about pop-ups like this? It's such an odd angle. These are tough plays to make, but you're right. You know, middle infield type of guy makes it look pretty easy right there, and then turn and don't even think about it. That's a tough catch.
You know, that's another reason to have a guy at first who has some athleticism about it. You got to make those plays, and if you do, as opposed to giving a guy another life at the plate, I mean, that's an out. And a nice job there by Franklin. Now Grossman up here, 1-0. There's a strike. It's 1-1. Two strikes. Cut by Grossman. Ramirez pitched 2 innings in the game Tuesday in the Kansas City series. I'll get together with Maile and Ramirez. Kepler, the runner at second, Sano at first. Rays left men at second and third in the 5th. Twins have men first and second in the 6th. Will they leave them? The 1-2. Foul out of play. We'll do it again. Stop. 2-2. Nearly active behind the plate. He got him, struck him out. Grossman down on strikes. 2 men left for Minnesota. We're still tied. Rays coming in to hit in the bottom of the 6th inning, and here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Chris Archer working on some new moves there. We'll hear from him. Doug Wechter will break down Joe Mauer. Evan Longoria leading off the bottom of inning 6, facing Irvin Santana. A ball, no strikes. Shot to center field. Well tagged. Buxton to the track. Gonna have room and makes the catch. Longoria, a little excitement there with that one off the bat. And Buxton had a couple steps left before he got to the wall.
When you see that trajectory coming off the bat of Evan Longoria, especially when he gets his hands extended, arms extended, you start to think maybe it's got a chance, but that ball just towards the end of the bat, and not enough there.
Evan coming into this game with 3 career home runs off Santana, and made a bid, but a long fly ball for the out. Now here's Brad Miller. Miller with a single and a ground ball to second. Santana, who's been pitching very well for the Twins, doing it again tonight. 2-0.
Just look at the last half inning that he threw. I mean, second and third with nobody out, and he picks up 3 strikeouts.
Oh, a drive down to right field line. Will it stay fair? Yes! Home run for Brad Miller. And the Rays take a 2-1 lead. Number 20 for Miller.
That got the back wall. I mean, it bounced up off of the back wall. Brad Miller gets a slider down and in. That is the juice zone for a left-handed hitter, and he wallops this pitch.
He was keeping it fair down the line. There's a little English on that one to make sure it stayed fair. Here's a strike to Nick Franklin. Well, Miller, the difference in yesterday's game with a 3-run 8th inning home run, and has given the Rays a 2-1 lead with a home run in the 6th inning tonight.
Well, that's 5 in his last 7 games.
Franklin chops to the right side out of the shift. He's thrown out. Dozier handle that one.
That is a beautiful thing. See what happens when you take a guy and you put him in the cleanup spot?
He cleans up.
Yes, he does.
There's Corey Dickerson. The Rays now lead. They led 1-0 and saw the game tied in the 3rd. Now they've taken a 2-1 lead in the 6th inning. 2-0 the count to Dickerson. Well, the Rays now have Longoria with 23 home runs and Miller with 20. Into center field, Buxton is there to make the catch. So the Rays take the lead on the home run off the bat of Brad Miller. We are through 6 and it's 2-1 Rays. lead. Moving on to the 7th inning. Hustling and diving can be dirty work, and now kids can have a place to store their dirty clothes with a Rays laundry hamper presented by Crown Automotive. All kids 14 and under receive the laundry hamper. That'll be Sunday, the 7th, when the Rays take on the Twins. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com today. Rays up.
He does eventually get that thing open.
And he came to the booth and demonstrated, the other night how easily it could be done. As if to say that all of that was just for dramatic effect for the camera before. We think he really had trouble.
Wait a minute. There you go.
Two and one. Well done.
By the time he got that thing opened, I had already done a loaded wash.
There was no need for it. All your clothes were clean again. Ball 3 here to Escobar. It's 3-1. Rays with this 2-1 lead, and you'd like to keep the leadoff guy off the bases here as we start the 7th. And he walked him. So a walk here to begin the 7th. Tonight's outing by Blake Snell, 5 1/3 of one-run baseball. 16th consecutive game for the Rays in which the starter has allowed 3 or fewer earned runs. It goes back to the series in Colorado.
Wow, that is quite the run. Well, we saw those numbers earlier. The ERA 1.79 coming into this ball game here.
There's Polanco, a bunt, a good one. Rivera's quick throw to first, reaching in there. Franklin to take that throw, and up to second goes Escobar.
Yeah, that ball started to run a little bit on Ramirez. You could see him breathe a sigh of relief as he barehanded that ball and threw it inside the line. And this was a good bunt. Look at him stepping behind home plate out of the batter's box. And then that ball sailing up there. Get that arm out of the way.
And you reach in there and get it out of the way as quickly as you can. Now Escobar at second with 1 out. Cedeno's up in the bullpen. Buxton due, but the Twins are going to get a pinch hitter. Buxton had gone 0 for 2. It struck out a couple times. And Rosario's going to pinch hit Eddie Rosario. The Rays going to have a little get together on the mound with Jim Hickey setting the agenda of this conversation.
Probably not expecting Buxton to come out of the game in this spot. And so now you go out there and make sure that everybody's on the same page as far as how they're going to go after Rosario. Big spot here. Rays just took the lead.
So Rosario's had a hot bat. He was recalled in early July, and since then has hit .333. 30 for 90 in that stretch. And hits one deep to right center, and that's going to get out of here. Boy, he was all over that one. And on one swing of the bat, Rosario has given Minnesota a 3-2 lead.
That was an example of a first pitch changeup to a hitter you don't have a lot of history against. And you're not changing up off of anything. And so Rosario just basically sees a BP fastball, right out over the heart of the plate and hammers it.
So the walk, the bunt, and now the home run. The pitch into Dozier's a strike. You talk about giving up a walk and having it come back to haunt you. On the very next pitch after the walk, the sacrifice goes down, and on the very next pitch, the 2-run home run. Ground ball off the bat of Dozier, and Beckham takes care of that.
Well, Tony, look at how this inning started. It's the Escobars, the Polancos, the Rosarios, getting the job done there at the bottom of the order, executing.
Number 7, Joe Mauer.
Joe Mauer. Mauer with a single walk and a ground ball to short. One strike count. Well, the Rays got the home run from Miller to take the lead. Eddie Rosario with the pinch hit home run has given the Twins the lead now. Two balls and a strike. Twins have been a hot team, and they got the timely pinch hit here in the 7th inning. 2-2 on Mauer. Strikes. Home run, pinch hit home run by Eddie Rosario on the top of the 7th. And it gives Minnesota a 3-2 lead. Rays on TV. You can stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app and take Fox Sports Sun and Rays baseball with you wherever you go. Rosario stays on to play center field. We move into the bottom of the 7th. Steven Souza Jr. leads off against Santana. First pitch is a strike. Slider came in there in the upper part of the zone. Souza Jr., Beckham, and Maile due up. One and one.
Well, the Rays need to answer. They took a lead on a big blast by Brad Miller. Immediately it was taken back by a blast by Minnesota.
Ryan Presley is up in the bullpen. 2-1. Santana about to make his 100th pitch of the night. It's foul out of play, and the count is 2-2. Fly ball right field. Kepler toward the corner with room, and he makes the grab. One away in the 7th. Tim Beckham. Beckham 1 out of 2 with a double in the 5th. Strike one, he missed the slider. High pitch count for Santana this year, 117. It was on the first day of July. He had a no decision in that game, and then followed that one up with that 2-hit shutout over Oakland his next time out.
And dropping those sliders right there on the outside corner. Tim Beckham taking some big swings. Irvin Santana staying away from him, staying soft. This part of the game, you want a hitter to beat you. You force him to beat you to the big part of the ballpark.
Two and two. Well, a full count. Made off the high fastball. Up the right side. It's twisting foul, and one big hop and out of play, out of the reach of Kepler. Souvenir down there. One out, bases empty, full count on Beckham. Back in there in the batter's box. There's a shot toward the gap into left center field. Got a fastball. Extra bases for Beckham. He will round second and hold with a double, carrying with him the potential tying run. Beckham's second consecutive double tonight.
That's what happens. You work that count, you get it back to full. Santana goes with the slider, you're able to spoil it, and then you get the fastball and you get the mistake. And that ball is ripped out into the gap.
Well, there's the double on its way to the wall. 8 doubles on the year for Beckham, and that's going to be enough to get Santana out of the game. 6 1/3 for Santana. Back after this. Run, but they have a threat underway. Fox Sports Supports proud to team up with Girls on the Run and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Registration is now open. Learn more about how you can get involved this fall and visit foxsportsupports.com. Ryan Presley, the new pitcher. Luke Mailey's the hitter with a man at second. The pitch is a strike. 6 1/3 for Santana. 6 hits, couple of runs. Responsible for a man on as he leaves. 108 pitches. He struck out 8, didn't walk anybody. 1-1. Presley got his first career save 2 outings ago against the Chicago White Sox. That was on the last day of July. And now he's behind Luke Mailey, 3-1.
Able to get those fastballs up into the zone. You got the 9-hole hitter at the plate, a 3-1 count to work with. You know that Mailey, sitting dead red fastball right here, should get a pitch to hit or take your base.
And he pops it up. Got the fastball. Mauer makes the catch. Two gone. Go to the top of the order. There's Logan Forsythe. 1 for 3 tonight. Forsythe takes a strike. Only 7-year-old right-hander. Beckham back at second base. Taylor Rogers is the left-hander up in the Twins bullpen. Blocked by Suzuki. Speed pitch, the changeup there. Now 1-2. Kiermaier on deck. Now to play the other way. Three 5-0 for Minnesota. 2-6-0 for the Rays. Fly ball into right, and Kepler is there to make the catch. Rays leave a man at second. We go to the 8th. It's 3-2 Minnesota. Max Kepler leading off here in the 8th inning, and he takes a strike. First pitch from Erasmo Ramirez. 3-5-0 for Minnesota. 2-6-0 for the Rays. The pinch hit by Rosario, the home run, is the difference in this game right now. Rays had taken a short lead on the home run by Brad Miller. That came in the 6th, and the pinch hit home run by Rosario in the 7th. So we play in the 8th. A 2-strike count. Kepler, Sano, and Suzuki due up. Kepler has been the red-hot hitter in this Minnesota lineup. 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts and a walk tonight. All of that was against Blake Snell. Hot shot to second, and Forsythe cradles it and makes the play. One gone.
Erasmo Ramirez here getting a little bit of an extended outing. important, obviously, for the Rays to continue to put up zeros. They're going to have the heart of their order coming up next half.
Joe Sano has a base hit. That came in the 6th. Couple of strikeouts. Snell struck out 7 in 5 1/3. Ramirez has 2 strikeouts in his relief appearance tonight. One 1-0 count. He just missed there apparently. Two balls, no strikes. Shift on for Sano. And a long one to left. That one is down the line and will get out of here. Second home run surrendered by Ramirez, and that makes it a 2-run game.
Well, Miguel Sano, one of those hitters who seemingly never vacates the fastball. Always looking for that pitch, always ready to try to attack it. He gets one right here from Ramirez, meant to be down and away, and it stays middle and it's up, and you can see the power right there as he gets to it and drops it right down the line into the stands.
So it's a 2-run game now. Ramirez touched for 2 home runs in this relief appearance. Suzuki, who is 0 for 3. 1 ball, no strikes. Foul ball outside of third. It's 1-1. So the Rays giving up 4 runs so far tonight. Well, you have to go back to the 23rd of July, the last time they've surrendered 4 runs. All caught off the bat of Suzuki. Kiermaier grabbing it in center. 2 outs. Rays lost 4-3 to Oakland. And that was on a 3-run bottom of the 9th inning by Oakland on the 23rd of July. Last time the Rays have given up as many as 4 runs in a game. There's a strike. Last time they've given up more than 4 runs was on the 18th of July in Colorado.
It's a pretty astounding stretch of tremendous pitching up and down the staff, because, you know, 4 runs, 5 runs, that's not that big of an offensive explosion, and to just not allow that to happen in that long a period of time is pretty special.
2-1 the count to Robbie Grossman. There's a shot right center field. Souza on the run. That's going to be off the wall. It's a double for Grossman. So 3 hits allowed by Ramirez, 2 home runs, and that double off the wall.
Well, listen, the mistakes being made out over the plate, the Minnesota Twins are hammering off of Erasmo Ramirez, and there's nobody warming up in the bullpen. I mean, he's out here to, you know, to get out of this on his own. There are no reinforcements coming. That ball just kind of spun, stayed out over the plate. The fastball to Sano missed its spot. The first pitch changeup to Rosario was belt high, middle of the plate, and just now are the Rays getting anybody down there stirring.
Garton's got to get up and begin to throw. Eduardo Escobar takes a strike. A little popper back at third, foul. Longoria is there making the catch. So we're going to head into the bottom of the eighth. It's 4-2. Twins lead. Kiermaier, Longoria, and Miller coming up. Touched for a couple of home runs tonight, giving up 3 runs, and the Rays are down 4-2. Kevin Kiermaier is going to open the bottom of the eighth. So it's getting late. Kiermaier looking for his first hit. He's facing the hard-throwing right-hander Ryan Presley. First pitch is a strike, mid-90s around the knees. It's low, 1-1. Presley, hard throwing right-hander, has a curveball and a slider to go with that fastball. And that's a strike. Tried to hold up. Pitch breaking down and in.
And good depth on that breaking ball right there. That's something that you don't see a lot of too. You know, a late inning reliever with both breaking balls and a fastball, but no changeup. No changeup that's ever been recorded.
This one is down. It's 2-2. So Jepson and Garton in the bullpen for the Rays, and the left-hander Taylor Rogers still busy in the bullpen for Minnesota. Kiermaier is out on strikes.
It's just a filthy breaker right there. 84. Late movement, late action. I mean, that's as good as you can do it.
Longoria takes first pitch strike. Couple of fly balls, one to the warning track in center field for Longoria in the 6th inning. All of that against Santana. 1-1 to count. Ball lifted into right. Kepler's there to make the catch. Presley had a little something extra on that. He's consistently 94, 95. He was at 97 on that one.
A bat like Evan Longoria will do that to you.
Now Brad Miller's due, and the Twins want the left-hander. Here's that home run, and at the time it gave the Rays a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, I got a breaking ball down and in, and boy did he jump all over that. One hop off the back wall. Things were looking good then, not so good right now.
And how about this? Evan Longoria now 23 homers and Miller 20. First pair of Rays teammates to do that in the same season since Upton and Zobrist had 28 and 20 respectively in 2012. Now here's Miller against the left-hander Rogers. He takes the first pitch for a strike. In fact, the Rays the only team in baseball without a pair of teammates to reach 20 home runs in any of the last 3 seasons, 13, 14, and 15, until this year.
Not really much of a surprise when you see the Rays from the beginning of the season, what their approach was going to be. They're trying to hit home runs, swinging hard.
Ground ball shortstop. Escobar up and out with the throw. And the Rays are up and out in the 8th. We go to the 9th, 4-2 Minnesota. Rays and the Twins tomorrow. We'll be with you at 5:30 in the middle game of this series. Chris Archer on the hill for the Rays. Archer in 5 starts against the Twins, 4-1 with a 1.78 ERA. He'll be after number 6 tomorrow. And then Sunday afternoon, the wrap-up game of this series with Matt Andriese on the hill for the Rays. We move into the 9th inning tonight. Ryan Garten on for the 17th time now for the Rays. He'll be trying to hold this Minnesota club. Hold the Twins to their 2-run lead and give the Rays a shot in the bottom of the 9th. Jorge Polanco leads off. Ryan's first pitch is high. Soft liner, 1 hop. And Beckham can't find a handle on it. He got it behind the bag, gets second base. And that'll be an error charge to Beckham.
Well, that ball was hit softly, and so Tim Beckham right here, the ball just kind of flipped out there, and he knows the clock is ticking. Left-handed hitter coming out of the box can run a little bit, and so he's got to try to hurry things up. And in that transfer comes loose.
It's the first error of the game. Number 4 on Beckham. Here's Rosario, moved to first. Polanco's back in. Kinsler up in the bullpen for the Twins. An eye on Polanco. Snell worked 5 1/3, then Ramirez 2 2/3. Gave up 3 runs, a couple of home runs. Here's ball 1 from Garten. Garten was in the game against Kansas City on Wednesday. It was that 12-0 win. Pitched the final couple innings of that game. Behind Rosario, 2-0. And we'll get a visit from Maile.
You know, and it has been the bottom of this Twins lineup that has given the Rays problems tonight. 3 of the runs scored. Rosario coming on for a pinch hit in the 9-hole, hit the home run, and Polanco scored a run. Escobar has scored a run.
Base hit the other way. Now the Twins have put the first 2 men aboard. So Rosario's 2 for 2.
He just stays short and quick. Power in his first at bat. This ball right here, a little cutter, stays middle down, and he just shoots it the other way. Not trying to do too much.
Brian Dozier, the leadoff man, he tripled in a run in the 3rd. And now puts down the bunt. Maile's throw to first in time, so they move the runners over. Polanco to 3rd. Rosario up to second.
You know, and a pretty impressive job by Brian Dozier getting that bunt down because the pitch is way up. A lot of times these get popped up. But look at him get on top of that. Angled the bat, dropped it right there, and Mahle had to go a long way to make that play. But the Twins in business here with second and third, one out.
Well, they have 2 men in scoring position, and if you were with us earlier this evening, you saw the numbers, the career numbers of Joe Mauer with men in scoring position. And he's up here right now, first base open. He has singled and walked tonight, grounded out and struck out the last 2 trips to the plate. And Kepler is behind him. The Rays pull the infield up. They're down by 2 already. Twins threaten to widen the lead. It's a strike. One. Now strike.
Couple of curveballs dropped in by Garton to get the jump here on Mauer. And now you figure out what can I do here to get a strikeout? Put yourself in a good position. He does like to use that curveball with 2 strikes, especially against left-handed hitters.
And a liner into left. That's a base hit. Dickerson gets a glove on it to keep it from going to the corner, but both men will score, and into second base goes Mauer. It's now 6-2.
That's why Mauer is so dangerous in those types of situations, and just overall a tremendous hitter. Another curveball. He took the first 2 for strikes. He's seen it. Now he stays. That's not exactly where Garton wanted it. But look how he just stays short, sweet to the baseball, lets it get into the zone, and then pushes that thing out there the other way. Another base hit. Runners in scoring position average goes up. 2 more come in.
Well, it's a 4-run game now with Max Kepler at the plate. Fastball misses. Well, the opening error has led to a run. Polanco and Rosario have scored. And a 2-0 count to Kepler, who is 0 for 3. He walked in the 6th. Garton behind 3-0. Buddy Boshiers is up in the bullpen. Three and one. Miguel Sano is on deck. That's a strike. So the count is full. Dylan Floro is loosening. strike three call. Kepler caught looking.
That was a little cutter. Started on the outside corner and then it cut right to the late movement right out there over the plate. Kepler getting a good look at a very nice pitch there by Garton.
Now the designated hitter, Miguel Sano. That pitch is wide. Liner into left. That's going to fall for a base hit. Advancing to third, Mauer. He's going to stop right there. And it's first and third. Third hit for Sano. He had gone 0 for 2 with a couple strikeouts. And has salvaged this with a single homer and now another base hit.
Well, another cutter right here. This one does not cut to the outside corner. Stays middle of the plate. And Sano belts that ball into left field. You know, there was talk, articles written actually, that the Twins were considering maybe sending Miguel Sano to the minors when Trevor Plouffe comes off the disabled list because he had been struggling so badly. But trying to come out here tonight and say no, not so fast.
Yep. Plouffe has had the rib fracture that sidelined him. That spins Suzuki around. 1-0. Two balls, no strikes. Well, the Twins have scored late, 2 in the 7th. They picked up a homer from Sano for a run in the 8th, and now here in the 9th they've added 2. 2 outs, first and third. Fly ball to center. Kiermaier is right there. So 2 additional runs in the 9th. It's 6-2 headed into the bottom of the 9th. 6-2 game headed into the bottom of the 9th inning. A couple of runs in the top of the inning as the Twins add some cushion. Nick Franklin will open the bottom of the 9th, and he'll be facing Brandon Kintzler. 36th appearance with a 2.08 earned run average.
Yeah, interesting. Like a sinker baller closer. You know, you saw his numbers were 8 out of 9 in saves. The ERA was very good, but just 22 strikeouts in over 34 innings. Also just 3 walks.
1-1 to count. Franklin drove in a run back in the first with a base hit. Line drive single into right. A couple of ground ball outs since then. Ball lifted into center. Rosario takes care of that. Coming up on Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers. Todd Doug anchored the coverage. We'll hear from Kevin Cash and interviews from the clubhouse as well. Corey Dickerson. And that's a strike. Kintzler's ground ball percentage, you talked about a sinker, and that's what he throws most of the time. You hit a fly ball off him, you're defying the statistical probabilities. Over 64% his ground ball rate.
That's maybe as high as we've seen.
1-2 the count. Franklin hit the fly ball to center off him. And now Dickerson behind him in the count. Into left. That's going to be caught by Grossman. 2 fly balls in a row.
That's probably never happened to him.
Number 20, right fielder, Steven Souza Jr.
He's trying to make the adjustment here.
Perplexed.
Yeah. Steven Souza Jr. about to step in. There's a ground ball, and that's going to go through for a base hit. 2 fly balls for outs, and now a ground ball for Souza through the right side. The Rays have their 7th hit.
How that ball just kind of moves back towards the plate. Not a lot of sinking action on it, more like run. Souza Jr. stays inside of it. Keeps it alive for the Rays. Although they're going to need 5, 6, 7 more of those.
So Tim Beckham up here. A couple of doubles tonight for Beckham. 2 for 3, takes a pitch down. And should Beckham keep this one going, Richie Schaefer is on deck. Good hit for Maile. And a pop-up right side foul ball. That'll be caught by Maurer, and that will end this game for the Rays in the ninth. No runs, a hit, and a man left on base. And so the Twins take the first game of this series. 6-10-0 with 8 left for Minnesota, 2-7 and 1-6 left for the Rays. Santana the winner, Ramirez the losing pitcher. For Brian Anderson, Todd Callis, and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast, if not the outcome. With you tomorrow, our coverage begins at 5:30. Rays Live, the post game presented by Checkers, comes your way next.